Welcome everyone to parkrun number 596. Excellent. 3, 2, 1, away you go.
Welcome back to the channel, and it is typical British weather, on and off rain, but it is 9 AM on a Saturday, which means only one thing: we are back with another parkrun video. And today I'm taking you to a rather historic and very unique course of the Colchester Castle Parkrun. This course consists of one small and two big laps, so we will see the castle plenty of times in this video. But first of all, a bit about the course. The parkrun is run around the castle park grounds, which means it is all on concrete, which is nice, but there are some quite steep hills, so don't expect any 5k PBs this morning. But speaking of time goals, I have run this parkrun 4 times before, and my PB is currently 18 minutes and 24 seconds, so naturally I'd quite like to beat that. And well, as you can see from my current pace and the alternative camera view, I've gone off like a hot rocket, but I guess that is the way I like to rule these things and then hang on for dear life at the end.
Thanks, marshals.
Currently, I do sound like I'm speaking quite clearly, and I do quite like to thank you the marshals, and well, when we reach them on the next lap, well, let's just say I won't sound so energized. I'd like to take a moment to give some massive kudos to the marshals on course this morning, because afterwards I had some lovely chats with the marshals. The locals here are really friendly, and also the Colchester Castle Parkrun, as you'll see in a second, it can get quite congested, and well, I think they managed to traffic excellently this morning, and the marshals put on an absolute shift. Currently the weather, it does look alright, but a bit of foreshadowing for you, it doesn't stay that way. So for the marshals to stand out here this morning, I'd like to give a quick massive thank you. Back to the alternative camera view of my dad, who captured some clips for us this morning, and as you can see, I'm currently leading this parkrun with a little bit of a gap early on. I've gone off extremely fast, so let's just say that gap won't remain as huge as it currently is. But to be honest, the position I finish in is irrelevant to me, and the time goal is what I'm more focused on. But last time I went to this parkrun, I did come second, so it'd be interesting to see if I can hang on to first this morning. And well, a little bit of foreshadowing for you, it will be quite close. We're currently 500 meters in, and while my breathing, it does sound quite loud, but I feel because the camera mic is quite close to my mouth, it exaggerates from reality how loud I'm currently breathing. And now, as we turn around this corner, you can see that the Colchester Castle has now came into view for the first time in this parkrun. Don't worry if you don't know anything about this building, because well, I do know a few things because I take ancient history for A-level. So let me give you a quick history of Colchester Castle, and when I mean quick, I do mean quick. Okay, so you may know that Colchester does have some links to the Romans, and let's get something straight. That building which you can currently see was not built by the Romans. Okay, so the modern day Colchester Castle, which you can currently see, began construction in 1076 under the reign of William I, also known as William the Conqueror. But Colchester Castle began construction on the exact spot where a prestigious Roman building known as the Temple Claudius once stood. Much of the building was partially destroyed in the Boudiccan Revolt, and much of what was left was reused by the Normans when they constructed the modern day Colchester Castle. However, the Temple of Claudius was built in AD 49 after the Emperor Claudius, who began the Roman invasion of Britain. The building stood as a centerpiece in Roman Britain, and Colchester was the capital of Roman Britain, known as Camnodunum back then. So there you go, now you can understand why Colchester has links to Rome, and with that being said, I will now conclude with my history lesson. But yeah, for someone like me who holds a fascination in history and is a runner, this is like combining my two biggest passions together, which is truly remarkable.
Thanks.
Back to the parkrun, and we've just buzzed in for our first kilometer with a time of 3 minutes 16 seconds, and we are now heading onto our first big lap. If I was to sustain this pace, I'd be on for a 5k PB, but with minus 5 meters of elevation, well, that might be an explanation for my fast first kilometer. Something which I hinted to earlier is that the weather would turn downright miserable, and currently it has been alright, but as you can see, that is now changing. The Insta 360, which I currently have strapped to my head, has done an excellent job of maintaining a high camera quality, but because of that, it is hard to tell that it is currently raining, but I can assure you now it is started with absolutely torrential rain, which I'm currently running straight into. As one might say, the heavens has opened, and currently I'm running straight into the thick of it. I am British, so of course I'm going to complain about the weather now, but the rain, it was absolutely horrendous, and it was cold, and there was also a bit of wind going into it, so it was less than ideal. But currently I'm feeling really good. This part of the course, it is pretty flat, and currently I'm pounding the pavements with an absolutely terrific pace. At the moment, I'm feeling really strong, and the reason for that might be because of the shoe choice which I've gone with this morning. I'm wearing an old model of the Vaporfly, the Next Percent 2, which, to be honest with you, might be one of my favourite models. I've run some absolutely incredible times wearing this shoe, and honestly, I do really like the Vaporfly 2. However, having saying that, it is definitely getting near the end of its life, as you can see from this photo, and I'm pretty certain that the rain this morning hasn't done the durability of this shoe any favours. But nevertheless, the carbon-plated Vaporfly 2 has put in an absolute incredible shift for me this morning. Maybe I need to wear the Vaporfly 2 when I next go for a 5k PB attempt at a promenade parkrun.
Morning.
Oh, that was an absolutely tight turn. I've been doing some Japanese U-turns in my training. Well, let's just say I'm not confident enough to give it a go in the parkrun just yet. But with that dead turn, that allows me to see how much of a gap I have in the lead, and at the moment it is still reasonably quite large. I am a positive split runner, so well, let's just say that gap won't remain as large for much longer. And as I've turned back round again, you can now see all the other parkruns out there this morning, and taking in the weather, it was an absolutely incredible attendance out here. At the moment, everybody around me is doing an excellent job of staying to the left hand side, which is great because it means I can continue pounding the pavements and getting that fastest time possible. But also, on a more important note, it ensures the safety of all our runners, and it ensures I don't go smack bang face first into someone. So yes, a massive thank you to everybody on the course this morning, because this course, it does get quite narrow in places, so it is great to see everybody being safe out there. Okay, so the reason I can capture this video for you this morning is because I'm wearing the Insta 360 Go Ultra. This camera, it is very simple to use. All you have to do is press a button and it starts flashing red, which means you know you are now recording. And then using a magnetic clip, I can attach the camera to my hat, which allows me to present to you this POV perspective of me running. I will provide a full review on the Insta 360 Go Ultra in the upcoming weeks, but what I'll say now is based on past products which I've used, the camera quality, it is absolutely incredible, and also the stability of this camera is top notch. So cutting to the conclusion, I would highly recommend this product for you if you're looking to record videos such as this. Okay, the second kilometer is now buzzing through with a time of 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Another very rapid kilometer, but with minus 10 meters of elevation. This means I haven't really been challenged with any real hills just yet. But as I turn this corner, I will now be enduring the main hill of this course. In the top right corner, you can see the elevation to the slope, and while this hill, it isn't the steepest hill I've ever run up, but it does go on for quite a while, so it can take quite a bit out of the legs. Another thing to note is that the pavement, it is at a slight angle, so it doesn't do you any favours. And the weather, it is still hammering down cats and dogs, and well, I might have chosen the worst colour to be wearing in this weather. I rather stupidly went full white this morning, wearing a white shirt and white shorts. And I think it might be a bit of a coincidence, because every time it has torrential rain, I'm always wearing the full white. On Jaffa tracks on the Monday, when there's been torrential rain, I've always been wearing white, and I don't do it on purpose, because the session starts like it did today at the parkrun, where it hasn't been raining, and then halfway through it starts hammering down the cats and dogs. And because of the high levels of precipitation which we have had this morning, the shirt, it is stuck to me like glue, and it feels like I'm wearing a weighted vest almost. So it is not doing me any favours as I try and conquer this hill. Just look at the slope, 10%, that is less than ideal. But having said that, I have to be hammering these hills doing the hill training, because there is a reason why I'm doing the Colchester Castle Parkrun this morning. Because, well, we will be back to Colchester next weekend, because I'll be doing the Colchester Half Marathon. And word has it that the Colchester Half Marathon, it is quite a hilly course, and whilst it doesn't go through the grounds of Castle Park, it does go right outside it, and it does go up a hill called North Hill, which I ran to on my warm-up this morning. And just look at that hill, it's short but it is steep, and I'm not looking forward to that one bit. But there is reasons why I've chosen to do the Colchester Half Marathon, and the first one is, well, I really do love this city, the Roman aspect side to it, and overall I think this is a great city and one which I really do like. Colchester is quite local to me, so that makes sense. It's about a half-an-hour drive from Ipswich, and speaking of Ipswich, that was the first ever half marathon which I did, and the Colchester is the second I will ever do. I believe these courses to be quite similar, because they both start at a football stadium and then they go through the town centre and then into the countryside, and they're also both very hilly. So having saying that, I hope that I'll give a good shot at beating my current PB of 1 hour 17 minutes and 59 seconds. But if you're planning on spectating at the Colchester Half Marathon next Sunday, please do try and get some videos of me if I come past you. Because of course I'll be providing a race day vlog of the Colchester Half Marathon, and well, the more clips of me running, well, the merrier. But if you're looking forward to seeing that race day vlog, then do consider leaving a like and subscribing with the notification bell turned on so you do not miss that video. Back to the parkrun, and now you can see to the right of me we are running past the Colchester Castle for the second time in this parkrun. And as I stated earlier, we will run past the castle 3 times, which means I'll now be ending my penultimate lap and now heading onto my final lap. The next time you see me run past this castle, I'll be onto my sprint finish heading towards that finish line. And well, if you look at that clock, we're just under 10 minutes of running, so hopefully we have maybe just over 8 minutes left to run. And that finish line couldn't come faster for me, because I can tell you now that fast start and the rain has left my legs feeling absolutely cooked. I think the rain might have affected the microphone on my Insta 360 slightly, because at this moment I was panting quite heavily and well, you can't really hear anything. But for proof that I am working hard, just look at that heart rate. It is a lot higher than it was at the start of this parkrun. And as I run past these parkrun signs, that means we're now officially onto our 3rd and final lap of this parkrun. And also at this point, I'll now be buzzing in for my 3rd kilometer with a slightly slower time of 3 minutes 45 seconds. Now that is reasonably slower than my first 2 kilometers, but having said that, there was 8 meters of elevation in this split, so that there is my reasoning why it is slow, because it was definitely hilly in that 3rd kilometer. But now at least I get to enjoy a bit of downhill.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, we might have lost quite a few seconds going around that corner, but oh well, it doesn't really matter. I'd rather sacrifice a few seconds so more can enjoy a parkrun on a Saturday morning. You know I am a big fan of parkruns, so I am very happy to just let a few seconds go so we can all enjoy a free 5k on 9 AM on a Saturday morning.
Thanks.
On that note, as I turn around this corner, things are about to get quite congested and there's going to be quite a lot of traffic up ahead. But nevertheless, we banked quite a lot of time earlier on in this parkrun, so I can allow for a few seconds to slip, and I still think I should be able to be on for a PB. In fact, at this moment of time, I believe if we can sustain this pace, I'll be on for a sub 18 minute time. And while taking in the weather conditions and the hills for this course, I would be truly over the moon if we can run sub 18 minutes this morning. But as we turn this corner, I know we overtaking runners and there'll be runners coming towards me as well, so I do need to be careful here and maybe might have to sacrifice a few more seconds. But safety first, that is always the priority. I will now stay quiet for a moment so you can experience what it was like to be out there this morning in this absolutely horrendous conditions. So here we are approaching the dead turn, and I can tell you now we won't be trying any Japanese U-turns. But as you just saw then, as I turned around the corner, the guy who was in second has closed the gap significantly, and the gap is only about a few seconds or so now. In my defense, I did lose quite a lot of time going around that corner, and we've got roughly about 5 minutes to hang on to this first place position. But as I've already stated, I'm not too competitive when it comes to my finishing position. I don't really mind, but what I'm more concerned about is the time goal. Can I hold on for sub 18 minutes? Well, I think it is going to be very close. The rain, it is absolutely torrential, and because of that, my shirt, it feels like I'm wearing a weighted vest, and it feels like I've just added 20 kilos on. And my running form, I feel like I'm maintaining that to a good extent, and that is good because when the running form starts to go, that is when my pace starts to drop too. I'm pumping the arms, keeping a good leg stride, and I'm keep on looking forwards, trying to maintain myself being as upright as possible. And I'm starting to come to really enjoy some of these hilly courses. I I've put in a lot of training on the hills recently for the Colchester Half Marathon, and a lot of people ask me, how do I surge up hills? And I've got one word for you: plyometrics. Trust me, once upon a time I absolutely resented going up hills, and for me there is nothing worse than running uphill. What I will say is, conquer the hill, don't let the hill conquer you. Anyways, with my advice out of the way, we're gonna now buzz in for a 4th kilometer one I'm more happy with a time of 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Now that kilometer is significantly faster to the previous one, but with minus 9 meters of elevation, that might be the reason for that. Every step closer is towards that finish line. I am feeling tired, but the pace, it is looking very promising currently. The splits are never going to be consistent on such a hilly course, but it definitely has not been a burnout, and I'm definitely still putting in a jolly good shift at this moment. As we turn this corner, I'll be back to going up the main hill, but for the final time, and once I'm up this hill, I'll be very close to the finish. We now have just 800 meters left of the parkrun, 2 laps off the track. Can I hold on to first place, but more importantly, can I hold on to that sub 18-minute time? You can hear now I am panting away like a little puppy. I'm breathing very heavily, but I'm putting everything in these final few hundred meters. A few little side steps on the grass. I was very lucky not to slip over there. I did not feel much traction below me. But we pushed forward just 650 meters to go onto that finish line. Massive kudos to the marshals holding the rope there, managing to ensure the flow of traffic from both directions. We are weaving our way through all the other park runners, and a big well done to everybody else who was on the course today. I feel like I've said it a lot, but believe me, the conditions are absolutely horrendous. So yeah, a big well done to everybody who braved the British weather this morning. 500 meters left to go, and I have never felt more tired in my entire life right now. That is a bit of an exaggeration probably, but I am looking forward to seeing that finish line. We passed by for this 16-minute mark, which means we have just 2 minutes to cross that finish line in order to achieve the time goal which I set out of going sub 18 minutes. I'm feeling very tired, but I'm putting in a maximum effort going up this hill. As you can see from dad cam, as I make my way through all the runners, my gap is approximately maybe about 3 or 4 seconds. I'm not too certain how large the gap is, but any runner who has ball knowledge knows that you can never look behind you because that is a sign of weakness. Of course, this is just a park run and not an actual race, but there's a little bit of advice for you if you have a race in a track race, another road race, or anything like that. I'm looking straight ahead right now, pumping my arms, focusing on my form, trying to go as fast as I possibly can. With roughly 300 meters of the park run left to go now, I have just under 1 minute and a half to cross that finish line before it strikes for 18 minutes. And with that being said, I'm about to turn the corner for one last sight of Colchester Castle before I'll be preparing for my sprint finish. No matter what race I'm in, if I'm all by myself, I will always give it everything I've got in those final few hundred meters because every second matters. I would again like to give a quick thank you to all the marshals who braved the weather again, but with just over a minute of this parkrun left to go now, I will now shut up for the final minute. And there we go, across the finish line. Parkrun said I did a time of 17 minutes 35 seconds, but according to Strava, I did a time of 17 minutes 59 seconds. According to Strava, the 5k split which I went across was roughly around 17 minutes 35 seconds, with the course being slightly over 5k. But according to my watch, I crossed the finish line in 17 minutes 59 seconds, so either time though is sub 80 minutes, which I'm truly delighted with. You can do what you like with that information, but either way, I got the time goal which I set out to get, and I've got myself a massive parkrun PB for this course. Taking in the torrential rain which we had today, I am super delighted with my effort, and I'm very pleased with the shift which I put in this morning. Again, a massive thank you to all the marshals. This course, I really enjoyed it this morning, and if you want to see more parkrun videos like this, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.